Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to start our journey today with a fascinating topic. Learn Greek and Latin word parts to unlock word meanings. In this presentation, we'll explore how understanding these word parts like anti, mid, and trans can help us figure out the meanings of many words. We'll look at how spelling these parts can give us clues and make learning new vocabulary easier. I'm glad you're here, and I look forward to exploring this interesting subject with you. When you recognize these prefixes, you can figure out what a word means even if you've never seen it before. This is a key insight that can really boost your vocabulary skills. Greek and Latin word parts are powerful tools because they often appear at the beginning of base words and roots. These prefixes and suffixes add specific meanings that can change the entire word. Understanding these word parts helps you decode new words more easily. Essentially, Greek and Latin word parts give you clues to the meaning of unfamiliar words. By paying attention to these parts, you can unlock the meaning and better understand the language around you. Today, we're going to focus on 3 important prefixes that can really expand your understanding of words and their meanings. First, we have across or through. These prefixes suggest movement from one side to another or passing through something. Think of it as moving across a space or going through a barrier. Next, we have middle or mid, which refers to the center or the middle point of something. It helps us understand positions that are central or halfway. Finally, there's against or opposed, which indicate being in opposition to something or standing against an idea or force. These 3 prefixes are fundamental because they help us decipher the core meaning of many words, and mastering them will give you a stronger grasp of language. They also connect to the overall theme of understanding how words are built and how they convey different concepts. Let's take a closer look at the prefix anti. As you can see on this slide, it means against or opposed. For example, antifreeze is a liquid that prevents freezing, so it works against the cold. Similarly, antibiotic is a medicine that fights against harmful germs like bacteria. Then there's antithesis, which means the complete opposite of something, highlighting contrast. Moving to anti-gravity. This term refers to protecting against the effect of gravity, which is a fascinating concept in science. We also see anti-slavery, which is opposed to slavery, showing how anti can be used to express opposition to social issues. So, in essence, the prefix anti helps us understand that something is meant to oppose or counteract a particular force, idea, or condition. This is a key concept as we explore how language can express opposition clearly and effectively. All right, let's dive into slide 5. Here, we're focusing on the word antibiotic. As you can see, it's built from biotic, which relates to living organisms, and the prefix anti, meaning against. So an antibiotic is something that fights against living organisms that cause disease, like bacteria. It's a great example of how combining different word parts can give us a clear idea of what a term means. Now, moving on to the idea of word building, which is a fascinating way to understand language. For example, we have words like movement that fought for freedom and equality, and anti-slavery, which clearly shows opposition to slavery. These are compound words formed by adding prefixes or suffixes to root words, helping us grasp their meaning quickly. Another example is antifreeze, which is something you put in your car to prevent the engine from freezing. It's a practical, everyday word built by adding anti to freeze, meaning it fights against freezing. And then there's antibiotics, which are medicines used to cure infections. Another real-world example showing how these anti words directly describe their purpose. Overall, this slide highlights how understanding these word parts can help us decode new terms and see connections across different contexts, from medicine to social movements. It's all about seeing the pattern in language to deepen our understanding. Let's take a closer look at the word mid and how it helps us understand the concept of the middle. When we see mid in words, it generally means middle or center. For example, a medium size is something that's between small and large. It's not tiny, but not big either. It's somewhere in the middle. Similarly, mid-size refers to something that's in the middle of being small and large, giving us an idea of a moderate size. When we talk about the middle of the term, like during an exam, we often call that the midterm. This means it's in the middle of the academic period. The same idea applies when we mention midweek, which is the middle of the week, typically Tuesday through Thursday. The word midpoint is used when referring to a specific point that's exactly halfway along a line. Imagine dividing a street or a route into two equal parts. Then there's midday, which is the middle of the day, usually around noon, when the sun is at its highest point. And midnight refers to the middle of the night, precisely at 12:00 a.m., marking the transition from one day to the next. Throughout all these examples, the key idea is that mid helps us pinpoint the center or middle of something. It's a really useful prefix because it immediately gives us a sense of balance or midpoint. This concept of mid is especially important when we're trying to understand positions, sizes, or points in time. It's a simple word, but it carries a very clear and powerful meaning that helps us describe and locate things in the middle. The midterm exam was designed to see how students were performing after several weeks of class. It serves as a checkpoint, giving both students and instructors a clear picture of progress so far. By analyzing the exam results, we can identify areas where students are excelling and where they might need additional support. This helps us tailor our teaching strategies to better meet student needs. Overall, the midterm acts as a reflection point, allowing us to gauge understanding and adjust our approach if necessary, making sure everyone stays on track for success. Today, we're exploring the prefix trans, which means across or through. When we say across a continent, we're talking about something spanning from one side to the other, like a journey or a connection. Similarly, transcontinental describes something that crosses an entire continent. Moving to the ocean, across the Atlantic Ocean is a way of saying something travels over the water from one continent to another. The word transatlantic is used to describe things that happen across the Atlantic, like flights or communication. Now, to change from one language to another is about carrying meaning across different languages. That's what translate means, taking words from one language and converting them into another so others can understand. And move an object from one place to another involves carrying something across space, which is what transport refers to, like shipping goods across the country or even around the world. All these words about movement and change share a common root, the prefix trans. Remember, trans always signifies crossing over, whether it's land, water, languages, or objects. It helps us understand the idea of going across something, connecting different places or concepts. This idea of crossing boundaries is central to many of the words we've discussed today.